Okay, let me just start out by saying I have not been one of those consistent fans or viewers watching Love and Marriage Hospital this season. I just have not. It hasn't drawn me in the way it has in the past. Okay, I think I did a video when the season first came on back in like July or something. Since then, I just really hasn't been. It just hasn't held my attention. Okay, so anyway, last night, same. It was not my intent to watch or anything like that. I was doing my normal thing, watching House Hunter. Looking for houses because I love doing that. I especially love when they do the international house hunt. So in between commercials, I did, click over there just to see what it was talking about because I've been just getting all my content from other creators as they watch it, on Saturdays. Then they usually start chiming in like Sunday morning, talking about the episode and giving their opinion on each scene and stuff. So that's pretty much where I've been kind of gathering my little bits and pieces on Love and Marriage this season. So anyway, last night as I was going back and forward between House Hunt, I would click over to that and I would click over to like 90 Day Diary and stuff. So I clicked over to the first scene that I caught. I only caught 3 scenes last night. And let me just say this. Those producers for last night episode, Saturday night episode, they had to be working really hard to try to pull together enough footage and enough scenes just to make that episode last night because it was literally boring as hell. It was. Okay. So I click over there and it's not in any particular order or anything like that. But one of the scenes that I did get, and I did watch that little scene. Let's go with Ken and his friend Will. I think that's his name. That's how much it shows y'all I've been watching the show because I think his name is Will. I don't even know these people's names. But Ken was at him and Trish house. That's what it looked like. And now you guys got to understand, and you guys, I know y'all been following the show and everything. Ken was supposed to move out because Trish and Marquez went through their divorce process. And during the divorce process, one of the stipulation was Ken could not stay there. He had to, have stay somewhere else because of their minor daughter. And Marquez had stipulations where he had to do drug tests. He had to get his own place in his name and have a job and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So, but all this stuff, happened months ago. So I don't know if Ken, he's probably back in the house by now. I don't know. But anyway, he was there at the house with his friend that he got a podcast cast with. And of course, they was talking about him and Trish's relationship. And they was talking about, his friend, listening to whatever. And he was talking about how, there's so much that Trisha has to work on, even with Marquez being out of the picture. She has some things she need to work on, and she need to go to therapy and this, that, and the third, because she'll go from 1 to 100 like that. And basically, his friend is pretty much just telling him maybe he should think about maybe this is the time to just kind of walk away and let it go and all this kind of stuff. Which I think his friend I think everybody that's been giving him advice or information on his relationship with Trish need to just step back and just worry about their own thing that they got going on. Because I know Marcel has given him advice, Fletcher has given him advice, Martell, Maurice, they've all trying to step in there and give this man advice about Patricia, and he knows Trisha. He's been with her for what, 5, 6, 7 years. So he knows the type of person that she is. He knows whatever baggage that came into that relationship on her behalf, because I'm sure he brought some baggage into the relationship also. Okay. And he stepped up and took on that responsibility of taking over this household or taking over this family as his own. and stepping up and doing whatever it is he's been doing. Because from us on out, outside looking in, it looked like he's been doing a great job as far as, building that relationship with her kids, doing things for her kids, being there for her, mentally, physically, spiritually, and all that. Seem like he supports her 100%. Okay. So I think everybody just need to back off and leave him the hell alone. Let him make his own decision because it's his life and it's Trish's life, and if they're gonna be together, then they're gonna be together and they'll work it out. They've been together already, damn near 10 years, so they'll work that out anyway. So it was kind of crazy when I heard him say that, with everything that Trisha has gone through, and which is could be true, that she needs to get therapy. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that could be possibly true. But I feel like he also might need to get some therapy because, like I said, he took on this self made family and he's came into it. And in between coming into this self made family, he's had to deal with everything that she brought into the marriage on top of having to deal with Marquez and trying to keep that balance with that. So it might be a great idea that they both go sit down and talk to a professional and leave everybody else out. Leave everybody else out the picture. Go in and pay a professional. Sit down. Somebody that ain't got nothing, no dogs or cats in the fight. They just there to listen and help resolve whatever issues that's going on. Because sometimes when you bring in friends and family into your relationship, whether it's a marriage, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever type of intimate relationship you have with someone, when you start bringing in close people into that relationship, asking for their advice, and then if you step back and look at their life, they really ain't got too much going on for themselves. They're not going to give you the best advice because it could be a little bit like, they could be feeling some kind of way down deep, down undercover, and they just don't want to say. So if you go to them asking for advice, this gives them their opportunity to tear you down even further, or help you to put that, help you to push that person away even more when you're really trying to get that advice to come closer together. Everybody's not meant to mentor you or be your advisor or any of that. Most of the time, your family and friends are not the ones you need to talk to anyway. It's just not. It's okay to have a friend discuss certain things, this, that, and the third, but when it's something that deep, you probably just need to go ahead and get a professional help. Okay, so that's what they was talking about. That's what he was. They was pretty much deciding to do. So okay, but like I said, guys, all this stuff is already played out anyway. Okay, so I go back to my house hunting show, and then I come back, and now there's Trish having brunch, lunch, dinner, whatever they was having, because they was drinking wine also. So I guess it had to be, as they say, 5 o'clock somewhere. I don't know. But she was there with Destiny and her new bestie. What that woman name? I think her name is Sharon. I think. You've seen her in a couple of scenes at the house, especially the scene I saw that somebody had posted at the house where Ken and not Ken, well maybe it was Ken and Marquez had got into it or something, and she was there at the house, but that's the young lady that was having lunch with them or dinner or whatever. So here we go again. You have these two young ladies here giving you advice on your relationship with Ken. And hell, I don't know what is their relationship status. I don't know nothing about this her friend Sharon, because really only thing they've showed on the air about her is just basically being there, I guess, as Trish's support system, a part of her support system. So I don't know anything about her, but I know Destiny done had her ups and downs and this and that and the third with her male people or whatever. But they was telling her that she really need to fight for her relationship with Ken. And from their point of view, Ken seemed like he's a good person. He seemed like he really loves her. He really cares for her and the kids. And that's just something that they feel like she needs to, my gummies. That's something they feel like she needs to fight for. So, okay. Once again, I think they need to just tell her if she's coming to them for advice, that she needs to maybe her and Ken need to sit down and seek out professional help and go that way. Now, the one thing that Destiny did say that kind of stuck out in my mind, she said to Trish, you can't match energy. Okay. So basically, she was telling her that if you on 100 and Ken is on 100, you can't go to 150 or try to outmatch his energy. You know, it's never gonna work. And she true, but it's true. That's true. That was a true statement she made. When you're trying to outdo the other with either over talking them or throwing jabs below the belt or whatever the case is, when you've gotten to that point and you're doing that, then you're definitely acting out of anger and you're just trying to shoot your best shot to get them before they get you. And it's all it's gonna do is just end in destruction. It's not gonna end good. Because at that point, everybody is trying to get their little 2 cent in, this, that, and the third, and it's just not going to end very well. Usually for neither parties, because all you're going to do is get madder and madder, and say more and more stuff, throw more and more stuff on the fire, and it's just going to create a bigger and bigger explosion. It's going to all explode. So I get it, but when she said that, I was like, oh, okay, Destiny. So is that something you have learned since what, last year or a year and a half ago? You was definitely trying to meet every energy that Sonny and Moses had, especially Sonny. You was coming at this girl 150 miles an hour. Anything that she said, you was definitely trying to outdo her energy and make sure that you got, your part in. But anyway, people can grow and people learn. So maybe this is something Destiny has learned over a period of time, after dealing with that thing with Moses and Sonny. Maybe she has learned that, matching energy just don't work. Sometimes it's best to just put some space in between it, walk away from it, give it time to kind of cool down, and then maybe come back and have a discussion. Okay. So anyway, that's what that was about. Okay. But I do agree that between her friends that she had, guys, I am sweating like crazy. I do agree that at her luncheon that she had with her friends, and then Ken sitting down with his friends, that they both had a valid point as far as them getting therapy. I think it would help Trish a whole lot because it just seemed like, and like I said, this is us on the outside. We don't really know this girl. We haven't been in her life no more than about a year and a half. So we don't really know what all she's been through. She's talked about um, her relationship, her marriage. She's talked about her family, and she's put a little bit out there. So it just seemed like she has went through a lot of trauma, not drama and trauma, and it would definitely probably benefit her to sit down and have someone she can talk to that is totally neutral, don't know anything, coming in and just listening to her and let her, get some of that stuff out and stuff. So I think it would definitely do her some good. But between her and Ken, I think they're a beautiful couple. She's a beautiful girl. Trisha's a very beautiful girl. The only thing I just wish when she talked, she would open her mouth more instead of do. But hey, that's just me. But I think that they're gonna work it out, and they're gonna, if it's meant for them to be, and it's meant to go however long we need to go. And I also think that maybe when her and Marquez did get married, they were so young. I think they was pretty young when they got married because she just turned what, 37, 38 a few months ago. So, and they already got a son that's what, 18, 19. So they had to be, together at a very young age. So, she's probably never really just been by herself and spent time alone by herself. She's probably left from her parents' house to Marquez, and they was together over 10 years, 10, 15 years. From there to Ken, she might need to just take some time to herself. I don't know. Who knows? that's something that she's gonna have to figure out and get that help from a therapy. I think that'll do her some good. But that's what was going on with those two scenes that I seen. Okay. Then I go back to my house hunt and I come back and watch the last scene that I seen. And this scene just really it really kind of just cracked me up because I'm like, wow, these producers are pulling everything they can get just to get a episode for us tonight. They just pulling stuff, trying to get an episode. This was the scene with Marquez, I mean Marceau and his baby girl, his daughter, his middle daughter, his oldest daughter. They going out to the spa to get their pedicures and stuff. And to me, this is just me, it looked like it was like he was having to pull her little teeth out just to get her to even have a conversation with him. It really seems like it was pretty clear to me that she did not want to be there with her dad. She did not want to have that spa day with him. And I think they probably talked her into it. And she probably was like, I go if y'all gonna give me some money. And they probably told her, yeah, you gonna get paid. You gonna get paid because you gonna be on TV. It's just gonna be you and dad. And you gonna be on TV. And it's just gonna be y'all. And the camera gonna follow y'all to the spa. Y'all get y'all feet done. And she probably like, okay, I'll do it for that. Because you know how it is with teenagers. They really don't want to be bothered by either one of their parents. And then to get stuck with their daddy, especially girls, to get stuck with their daddy, they probably be like, ugh, because they don't think their dads are cool at all. They still at this point, at that age that she is, I think she was 13, 14 years old, about 14, maybe 15. But at that age, they still okay with hanging out with their mom. They still think their mom is cool and hanging out with them. And those are things that they do with their mom. They get their nails done, they go shopping, doing their hair and all this kind of stuff. But it seemed like when they were sitting up at that spa, I mean, he was really struggling just to have a conversation with her. And I'm not saying that Marcel is not a good dad. I'm not saying that at all, period, because we don't know. They only show us so much. And they've never really shown a lot of scenes with him hanging out with the kids. It's mostly Letitia hanging out with them. Or every now and then they come together at dinner or something like that. But it's not like he just take the girls and they go do something. Or he took his son and they go do something, hang out or whatever. They didn't really, and that's cool because a lot of people don't want their kids on TV like that. I get it. So that's why I was really shocked last night when I saw that scene with him and her going to the spa. Okay. And then to see how he was struggling just to have a conversation with her, because she really wasn't trying to have a conversation with him, even when he was trying to talk to her about her little boyfriend and everything. So, and so I guess by her having a little boyfriend, she got to be at least, up at, like 50, I would think 15, 16. I don't think they would be letting her date in 13, 14, but who knows? That's their parenting or whatever. But it was just obvious that she did not want to do it, and she was only doing it because they had told her to do it, and they probably had promised her that she could get, a few coins from doing this scene with him. So that was kind of awkward. And I'm like, they are really, really trying hard to pull this tonight episode together. Now I don't know what else went on the show, but those are the only three scenes that I saw. Okay, that's it. I didn't watch it in the rest of them. I would probably go on social media here after a while and see what the other scenes was about and what some of the other content creator are saying about the other different scenes and stuff. But I was sitting here thinking, and I'm like, Carlos, dude, you better get it together. If you don't get it together, you're going to lose this show. This show is going to be canceled. It's going to be canceled. And I know I saw somewhere one of the content creator was showing the rating sheet, and they had lost like, I think 17,000 views or uh, fans or whatever it is, and their rating, had went down. Mm-hmm. So, Carlo, since you claim you put Huntsville on the map, which is not true, it's not true at all. Huntsville is the biggest city in the state of Alabama, the biggest city in the state. It has outgrown Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile, all of them. It's one of the biggest cities in the state of Alabama. It is one of the cities that is highly ranked with their school system. It's highly ranked for the Space and Rocket Center. It's highly ranked for houses, the whole economy, jobs, and all that. So you might need to make a trip down here to Huntsville, since you claim you put Huntsville on the map, and get out here in these Huntsville streets and find you some new cast members to bring on the next um, episode after this one is over with. Because I think this one is kind of coming to an end and ready for the reunion or what have you. But you need to get your little booty down here, get out in these streets. There are plenty, hundreds of other people that you can interview to get on this show. If you want to keep it a black cast, cool, whatever. If that's what you want to do. There are black doctors here. There are other black lawyers here. There are other black business owners that own restaurants, hair salons, all kind of stuff. Okay, so if you really want to keep this show and keep it moving in a positive direction, or keep it entertaining, it ain't even gotta stay positive, because all reality shows are gonna bring drama. All of them, they're gonna be drama. But if you want to keep it moving and keep that check coming in from Love and Huntsville, Love and Marriage Huntsville, you need to get yourself down here to Huntsville, get yourself out there, and you don't even need to leave it up to the cast to bring anybody in. Okay, Melanie did bring in the Fletchers. She did bring in Stormy. Yep, and she did bring in Destiny, and she brought in who is I can't think of a name, but the one that had the baby and left. She did bring her in. So Melanie brought those people in. So you probably need to just come down here and have an open call or something, and do your research on some of these other, well-known, established black people in Huntsville, if that's what you want, to keep it a black cast, and bring in some new faces. Because the people that you got right now, and listen, I'm not a millimeter, I'm not a Scott meter, I'm not a Fletcher meter, I'm not a Ken and Trish meter, Destiny. I'm not really a fan, like of any of them. There are certain ones that I like more than others. Okay, I was a little sad when Stormy left, because really Stormy was I thought she was, at that time, she was good for the show. I thought she was good for the show. Definitely knew Melanie was good for the show. But those Stormy and Melanie has been gone for a year now, a year or so. So they don't have them to talk about anymore. So now, it's boring. It's just boring. The show is boring. It does not hold my attention at all. And if something does not hold my attention, and I know I'm only one little fan of the show, I know it's not going to break the rating that much, with me not watching. And it's okay. It's cool. And I am an old schooler. I'm a little bit older. So, of course, I'm not going to sit up and go through the whole thing the way some of the Gen Z or the younger people is going to do. And it's okay. That's okay. People watch what they want to watch. If it's something that's going to hold my interest, I will support it. Just as I support the two that I know has built their business and is pushing their business and promoting their business. I'm going to support that, because these young ladies are out here busting their ass to get their business and to keep it stable and to keep it moving. So of course I'm going to support those young ladies and stuff. I would even want to support the rest of them, but I don't know what to support. But Carlos, you're gonna have to make some changes. You're gonna have to make some changes if you want this show to continue, and you want to you know I know you got Detroit Love and Marriage and what DC or whatever Love and Marriage, But the original one that started here in Huntsville that you keep wanting to claim as your baby and you put it on the map, put Huntsville, Alabama on the map. Not true. Not true. But it's okay. Take it, you know. But you're gonna have to get out here in these Huntsville streets and find you some more um, members, some more cast members to bring on this show. You're gonna have to do a shakeup just like they had to do it, Andy Cohen's. When it gets stale and it's just not holding people attention, they're not gonna watch it. They'll sit and watch like I said, 90 Day Fiance or something, or they'll go to Lifetime and watch Lifetime before they sit up and waste their time on something that's not entertaining because reality TV is supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to entertain people, make them laugh, make them cry, make them mad. But that's what entertainment, that's what reality TV is supposed to do. So if it's not doing that, then people are going to move on to other things. It's too much screaming on TV these days that you got such a variety of what you can watch on a Saturday night and be entertained. And I mean, I don't want to see the show canceled, because hey, I ain't getting no coins from it, so it don't matter to me one way or the other. But if I'm gonna dedicate my time to pencil them into my schedule every week and be there to watch them every week, then it need to be a little bit interesting. It need to hold my attention, at least for half of the show. It need to hold my attention. So that's all I'm saying. But y'all, hey, if y'all checked it out or y'all haven't checked it out, they do rerun it on Fridays. Because I might actually watch the whole thing on Fridays. I usually sometime I do it, on Fridays or whatever. If I'm not really into wrestling, that's my wrestling day. Okay. But anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. But I just don't I don't get it. I don't know. But I do excuse me, y'all. I do know that those producers, they they was working for that episode last night. They was up there scraping up every piece of footage that they can come up with to try to put together those different scenes. Because the three that I seen, mm-mm, it wasn't it. It wasn't it at all. And what we got to understand, like I said, we're already behind the ball because everything that we're seeing on Love and Marriage happened months ago, last year sometime. It happened last year. I mean, if y'all pay attention, you can see they walking around with coats on and all this kind of stuff, scarves on and all this because it was last year. It was cold when they was taping this stuff. So this stuff has already happened. So we're already behind the ball and we're playing catch up with what they're showing us. So yeah. hmm So y'all let me know what y'all think, honey. I'm definitely probably gonna tune in to the maybe the reunion just to get the overall or whatever. But I don't see, it's too much. And then just being on social media, you're seeing all this negative stuff, all this stuff that's supposedly going on with Chris Fletcher and his business and his realtor license and all this stuff. I don't know if it's true or not true, but there's a lot of stuff behind the scene going on with him, and they ain't said nothing about that on the show. All this stuff that's still going back and forth with Mel and Martell and Ariane, which I guess he gonna try to ease her into the show next season because he's been saying her name more on the show and talking about her. And the people that he's talking to are saying, "Oh, Ariel, you're gonna move Ariel in your house? You gonna do this? You gonna do that?" So I guess that's his way of kind of building her up to get her on the show. But to be honest with y'all, if she come on the show, I don't think it's gonna be any better because I don't think Tisha's gonna get along with her. I don't think Kimmy's want to deal with her. Um, Destiny might because she's friend with Martell, and then maybe Trish because Trish and Destiny seem like they became kind of close. But the Scots are not going to deal with her, period, because they probably think that she do know something about their husbands. They probably think that Ariel got some information about Martell and Maurice, so they're not going to deal with her, period. So I don't know how that's going to be. The only thing that can do is just show a little bit more. Martell would pick up a little bit more time by him getting her added to the show. Um, Nell would probably give her a chance and go have lunch with her or something. Which, if I was Nell, with Nell coming in as male friend initially, I don't know, but I guess you got to do what you got to do just to stay relevant and be in and to get in these scenes and make the show. I guess that's what you got to do. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. But y'all just let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Hey, don't forget to go down there and hit that like and subscribe button. It has been a minute since I came on here and talked to you guys, but try to get back into it. I had really gotten too entangled with it, and I was like getting so worked up because I didn't get all these likes or this, that, and the third. And then I was like, you know what? It's not even about that. It's not even about that. So I just kind of stepped away from that for a minute, started back focusing on myself, and dibbling in a little bit more things, dibbling in TikTok and different stuff, and just mostly focusing on myself. That's basically what Grandma's been doing. Okay, but y'all have a great day. Hey, hit those buttons down there for me. Let me know what you think about this little the episode I got going right here. What you think about Love and Marriage Huntsville? Do you still watch it? Or are you going to continue to stay a truthful fan and watch it regardless? You know what? What you think? And like I said, don't get me wrong. I am not trying to put the show down. I am not hoping anything happened to the show or trying to speak anything into existence. I'm just saying he need to revive. He need to take a step back, and he need to bring his self down here to Huntsville, get out here in these Huntsville streets, and find some new faces and bring in some new people and shake some stuff up. Because right now, it's not it. It's just not it at all. Okay. All right. Y'all have a good one.